Basics. The 1987 5-cent coin or nickel is part of the ongoing series of U.S. coins that have featured the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, along with his Monticello estate depicted on the reverse. While the design has stayed largely the same for decades, the true value of a 1987 nickel comes from certain key factors that set it apart from its more commonly circulated counterparts. That in 1987, the U.S. Mint continued to strike the standard nickel at their facilities, using the traditional copper-nickel alloy. The 1987 nickel was no different from other coins of its era in terms of composition and appearance. So why is it so special? Well, unlike older coins or more recently minted ones, the 1987 nickel carries a certain level of rarity due to a few specific characteristics. The first and most important factor is the unique era coins that have emerged from this year's minting. Yes, I'm talking about coins that were struck with mistakes. Mistakes that, while seeming small, can make a world of difference when it comes to value point. One of the key errors found in some 1987 nickels is known as a die break or die crack. This is when the metal die used to strike the coin starts to deteriorate, creating cracks or breaks in the die itself. These cracks can leave noticeable, raised lines or marks on the surface of the coin. For collectors, these types of errors are particularly appealing because they represent a rare anomaly in the minting process. These die breaks can make an otherwise ordinary 1987 nickel into a highly sought-after specimen. Another error that has contributed to the 1987 nickel's rise in value is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned in the minting press, causing the design to be off-center. When this occurs, the image of Thomas Jefferson or the Monticello on the reverse might be slightly misaligned or even partially missing. These off-center errors are relatively rare, and collectors are drawn to them because they are unique and stand out from the typical flawless coins that are often found in circulation. But it's not just errors that make the 1987 nickel so valuable. Even coins in near-perfect or uncirculated condition can command significant value. The reality is that many of the 1987 nickels that were produced saw a great deal of wear and tear over the years. Coins that were in circulation for decades have been subjected to everyday handling, which means they often show signs of scratches, dings, and discoloration. But a coin that has been carefully preserved, with sharp details and minimal wear, can fetch a much higher price on the market. For example, if you come across a 1987 nickel that's been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition, you may be in for a surprise. The value of these well-preserved examples is much higher than those that have been used for years in pockets, vending machines, or cash registers. The pristine condition of a coin directly influences its value in the eyes of collectors, and it's not unusual for such specimens to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now let's take a deeper look at the overall value of a 1987 nickel. You might be wondering, how much could a coin that seems so simple really be worth? Well, when it comes to era coins or nickels in exceptional condition, the price tag can be quite impressive. In fact, depending on the specific era, rarity, and condition of the coin, a 1987 nickel could be worth a staggering $65,000. Yes, you heard that right, $65,000. That's the potential value for a rare 1987 nickel, and it's no exaggeration. While most of the 1987 nickels in circulation today are worth only 5 cents, the rare era versions, or coins in pristine condition, are the ones that can command these high prices. A coin with an unusual die, break, off-center strike, or simply one that's been preserved in mint condition, could be worth a small fortune to the right collector. For any serious collector or coin hunter, this is a thrilling discovery. If you have a 1987 nickel tucked away in your collection, or buried in a jar of loose change, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Get it appraised by a professional to see if you have a rare gem on your hands, because you might be sitting on a coin worth far more than you ever expected. The next time you see a 1987 nickel, don't just overlook it. Take a moment to inspect it closely. Check for any signs of errors like die cracks, or see if it's in exceptional condition. And who knows, maybe you'll be lucky enough to find one of these rare, valuable pieces that could be worth $65,000. Top 3. We're looking at a seemingly humble coin that has a hidden value that might just surprise you.